What up, all my fight fans? So, there's been talks that Jose Aldo, well, not talks, but he did retire from the UFC, but he did not retire from competing. So, I've been hearing that he's been wanting to do boxing. I'm always up for it. Like, we talked on and on about the Diaz brothers doing the boxing. We've seen Tyron Woodley do the boxing. We think about a few other guys who might be good at boxing. Look at Anderson Silva. I know George St. Pierre had flirted with it a little bit as well. So I see that there are some guys out there that could potentially be really decent boxers. But as far as Jose Aldo goes, I don't see it. I honestly do not see it. I really don't see him being that great. Like, don't get me wrong, the guy was really good with his hands. He was always fast, but the one thing that Jose Aldo was really, really known for was his kicks. Those brutal leg kicks that he always did. He was always able to mix it up really good. He never really was just one for using his hands. I believe after he got knocked out by Conor McGregor, he definitely was all about using his hands. Non-stop, just his hands and hands and hands and hands. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was that whole boxing thing. Maybe because he got knocked out with a punch. Who knows? But for some reason, he fell in love with his hands and fell out of love with his leg kicks when he was doing MMA. Which I strongly feel to this day was the reason why he was at his downfall. Like, a lot of guys just were no longer afraid of his leg kicks because he was no longer doing them as much. And that's why he was able to get beat a lot of the times with some opponents that I feel like he could have easily won. But nonetheless, he wants to do pure boxing. I really don't consider that being a good idea. I really, really don't. I really hope that he reconsiders that. I would love to see him back in the cage if he wants to do that. If he wants to do boxing, okay, but who? Who will he go against? This guy is going around at 135 pounds. Now, of course, we already know there's no shortage of 135 pounds. Of course, you got your Ryan Garcias, your Tank Davises, your Damon Haley's. You got even this new up-and-coming Curtis Stevenson. Not Curtis Stevenson. Excuse me, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Shakur Stevenson. There we go. Shakur Stevenson. And, Teofimo Lopez had just moved up in weight, but still could potentially go back down. But here's the thing. Would these guys want to go after someone that's not relatively known and relatively famous? Don't get me wrong, he is super famous within the MMA community, but as far as the boxing community, it's not like we're all like a Diaz brother. We want to see him box. We want to see what he could do against a Jake Paul and potentially somebody else. Anderson Silva, we know what kind of hands he has, and we want to see him do what he could do against Jake Paul. We saw what he did against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So yeah, those we would definitely be excited for. But as far as Jose Aldo, it's not something that we are all going to stop and be like, oh my God, Jose Aldo's boxing. I got to get home and see that. So that's just my only problem with that. That's my only issue with that. I would really like him to stay in the cage. I would really like him to possibly have a few last fun fights. Like a fun fight with Dominic Cruz. That would be really entertaining. That would be really fun. Both guys come from the WEC days. Both, almost ready to hang it up. Of course, Jose Aldo already hung it up. So yeah, I would like to see something like that. But as far as boxing goes, if he decides to do it, would I watch it? Of course, I'm a diehard fight fan. But is it something I would really like for him to do? Not necessarily. That's just, to me, not necessarily, because again, I've seen Jose Aldo more as a kickboxer, more who was just a crazy leg kicker, straightly lightning kicks with all his opponents. That brutal leg kicks that he did to Uriah Faber, that was 100% just the most brutal leg kicks I've ever seen. So yeah, I would prefer him in the cage, not in the ring. That's just my personal opinion, but I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. What do you think he should do? Should he still go back in the cage? Should he actually try to go against boxing? Or maybe he should just stay retired altogether? Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.